Hi party people, it's me, Sunny. I'm here to talk about the beauty of life. I'm here to talk about my life lessons that I've learned from healing myself from 20 years of addiction. So today I want to talk about the beautiful fact that you are different. Yes, we are all different, duh. But I just wanted to remind you guys of how beautiful that is, okay? So we're all unique. No one is like me, no one is like you. Even if you have a twin, they are not like you, they are not you. And so the more I mature in my life, the more I embody the beauty of life, the more I embody who I am, the more I love myself, the more I accept myself, the more I realize that truly, in order to be happy in life, you have to accept your uniqueness. You have to come to terms with who you are. And I mean, this sounds like, yeah, duh. But at the same time, I feel like so many of us, we are not really in the acceptance of who we are. I mean, many people are, and that's beautiful. But for me, as a person who had to heal from 20 years of hurting myself, harming myself, rejecting myself, not loving myself, telling myself I was a piece of shit, and all of these things. It's been such a long, hard road to truly accept myself for who I am and not wanting to change a single thing about myself in order to be lovable. Like, I was addicted to self-harm. I was addicted to self-rejection. I was addicted to not accepting myself. I was addicted to wanting to be different. And the funny thing, the funny paradox of life is that I always wanted to be different because I thought I needed to be like everyone else. But then the beauty lies in being different, in owning your difference, in owning your uniqueness, right? Because I would always find myself in a place where I would look into the mirror and I would hate my reflection, right? I would hate the reflection in the 3D. I would be like looking at all the flaws. I would look at all the things that I don't like about myself that needed to change. Because if I didn't change these things about myself, then I wasn't lovable. Then I would not be able to attract a person into my life or people into my life, a group of people into my life who would love me for who I am. If I didn't change A, B, C, whatever the fuck, and the list was long, about myself, before I didn't change these things about myself, before I hadn't accomplished changing these things about myself, I couldn't allow anyone to come into my life and love me. Because I thought, if I have ABC going on, then no one could love me like that. And that probably stemmed from my father telling me very early on, like, if I was like that, which I never truly found out what like that was, then he wouldn't love me anymore. And I think that was like the root trauma of me just looking at all the flaws that I could find within myself and trying to fix myself and just being in that loop. Like, I genuinely believe that addiction is not accepting what is, not accepting yourself. It's rejecting yourself. And I got stuck in this loop of looking at all the flaws and I was busy. I was very busy. Very busy. I was working overtime. I was working so much. But I was working trying to fix myself. Every day, that's what I would focus on. I would every fucking day focus on, like, I would get up in the morning and I look at myself like, I need to fix this. So that's what I would do all day long, as I was simultaneously just, of course, like doing life and trying to stay afloat, trying to keep up with the world and living my life and staying alive and like being a person in the world, all while in the background I was just constantly in overdrive of wanting to fix myself. And every single time I would look into the mirror, every single time I would actually be around people, I'd be anxious. I would try to find the things that weren't right. And as I was speaking to people, I would put on that mask, and I would already, be anxious even talking to people, because I would already feel like, oh no, they're going to discover all the things wrong with me. So, being this people pleaser, putting on this mask, playing this role every single time you interact with someone, because you're always so scared that they're going to discover that you're not perfect, that they will see all your flaws, that would focus on all the things that weren't right with you, and then they would see that you are not perfect. They would see that you are not lovable. Like that, people would talk to you and be like, oh well, look at her, like she's not great, for a lack of better language here. But so I think a lot of social anxiety really does come from us thinking that we aren't good enough. And so whenever we interact with other humans, we're scared that they find out that we're not good enough. So that's why we put on this mask. That's why we play this role, because we want to come across a certain way, right? That's why we perform. That's why we are like trying to be the funny one, or we're just trying to please people. We're trying to be how we think that people want us to be. And that's where the whole tragedy lies, because we're all always like playing, performing, and we're not really being our true selves, because we think, oh, this person or this group of people needs me to be a certain way, so that's the role we get into. And the other person is probably doing the same thing, so we're not really being ourselves at all when we interact with each other. And because we think we have to change who we are, so we are likable, so we belong, which then everyone is not themselves. So how in the world are we supposed to feel like we belong? How I think it's truly part of the reason why we all feel so lonely, why there's such a where the loneliness epidemic comes from, because I mean, of course, smartphones, like everything, there's so much more that plays into that, of course, as well. But when we feel lonely inside, so let's say there's a group of 20 people, and everyone is like, a group of 20 people is in one room, but 20 people in this room feel lonely and disconnected inside, disconnected from themselves, because everyone is in their minds all the time, thinking about how they come across, thinking about, oh, like I need to be a certain way in order to be liked, in order to belong, playing a role. And all of this is a lot of times subconscious, very subconscious, and but at the same time there are conscious parts, like we are aware of certain things, right? So we are constantly just so fucking busy trying to be a certain way, and also constantly trying to fix ourselves, trying to improve who we are, trying to, achieve things, trying to be somehow that, so we then, we can like be in this group of, like be in this room of 20 people, and we're like, okay, so I achieved this and I achieved that and I did this and this is an accomplishment that I did. And so we can be like, look who I am, and am I acceptable now, right? Or we present ourselves in a certain way because we think that's how we have to be, although we actually would internally, deep down, we would actually want to be completely different, and all these things. So there we have a group of people, of 20 people in the room, and they are all just busy performing and trying to come across a certain way. And then we are in this group, and somehow we feel like we still cannot connect with anyone. Somehow we still feel like, we don't belong there. Somehow we still feel lonely. Well, guess why? Because we don't own who we are, because we're not happy with who we are. We haven't accepted ourselves for who we are, and we haven't accepted our uniqueness. And that's why it's so hard for us to connect to each other, because we're not being ourselves, because we are disconnected from ourselves, right? So that's why it is so important to own who you are, to own your uniqueness, to own your difference. Because as I said at the beginning of the video, we are all different, right? No one is like me, no one is like you. And that's just a fucking fact. So why are we trying to be someone we are not? It doesn't make any sense. If we were all just to own who we are, then we would feel connected to ourselves, we would feel connected to our bodies. And once we are connected with ourselves, that's when we can actually connect to other people on a true, deep level. If I know myself really deeply and I love myself and accept myself for who I am, that's when I can be who I truly am. And that's when I have the capacity to actually be in my truth and show up for other people the way I truly am and be in my most authentic self. And that's when I can welcome other people in who are in a similar space. And that's when I will attract the people into my life that are supposed to be in my life, that I feel comfortable being around, where I can just be myself, where I can relax and just stop trying to be someone else. Because I think so much from the anxiety that we experience, so much of the tension that we carry every day is because we are so tensed up, we are so constricted, because we're constantly trying not to show who we truly are. We're so busy keeping it together because we don't want to be weak. We don't want to let other people see who we truly are. We don't want to let down our guard because we're scared of being rejected by others. But the thing is, we are rejecting ourselves this whole fucking time. You're only scared of being rejected by others if you keep rejecting yourself. And this is coming from a person who used to reject herself for such a long time, for over 20 years, for most of my life. I was rejecting myself for the most part of my life because I simply could not accept that I am the way I am. I always thought I needed to be different in order to be accepted. And that's why I spent so much time trying to fix myself and never being truly present. And how are we supposed to be present? How are we supposed to connect to other people when we're not even present? We're in a room with people, but everyone's just like doing the small talk or saying the things that they think they need to say in order to be accepted. And then this is just this room of fakeness. And so we accept each other for things that aren't even true to us. How are we supposed to actually feel connected? How are we supposed to actually have this connection with other people on a real basis where we actually have this heart-to-heart connection? How are we supposed to do that when we don't even love ourselves for who we are? It's just not possible to be loved by others in the way that we would want to be loved by others when we don't love ourselves for who we are. That's just simply not possible. You have to own who you are. You have to love who you are. You have to stop trying to fix yourself and think that there's something wrong with you. Because as long as you're in this state, you cannot attract someone into your life who accepts you for who you are. How is that supposed to happen? How is that supposed to work? And that's why in this day and age, we feel like, oh, we cannot find love. We cannot find people who accept us for who we are. We feel like we're disconnected. We feel lonely. We feel like we cannot find a group of people where we feel like we belong, where we can just relax and be ourselves. Well, it's because we're not doing this with ourselves. And we're always going to attract who we are. So if you are in a state of constantly trying to fix yourself and believing that there's something wrong with you, then you're going to attract people who think the exact same thing about themselves and about you. And that's when you're just going to experience more rejection. That's when you're going to feel more disconnected once again. That's where you're going to feel like, oh, I cannot connect to anyone. I feel like I don't belong anywhere. So in order to be truly, truly happy, in order to find the love that you are looking for, the love that you want to experience, you have to give it to yourself first. And that's just what I have been learning and I have been embodying. And it's a process for sure to truly accept yourself for who you are and to love yourself for who you are. You just have to do it. You just have to do it. And if you don't do that, then you really cannot complain about not being accepted, about not being wanted, about being rejected by others, because you're doing it to yourself. So where is it in your life that you still feel like you need to change, you need to fix, because you think you're not good enough? Look at all of these limiting beliefs within yourself, because that is what's keeping you from your happiness. You cannot be happy and at ease, at peace with yourself when you're still rejecting parts of you. When you're still rejecting your body. When you're rejecting this voice in your head that's telling you, hey, do this and that, because I know it will make you happy, and you just keep pushing this voice away. And you're not listening to the voice that is telling you, hey, if we were to just do this because that brings us happiness, you do the things that you love doing. For example, you do your hobby, you play your guitar, you go painting, you go go outside, run, all these things that like fulfill your heart, but you just keep putting them off because you're too worried, you're too occupied with trying to fix yourself. First I have to do this, and then I can be happy. No, you have to start being happy now in order to get more of it, right? If you feel stressed out, it's because there's so much that you think you have to do before you can do the things that make you happy. But that's just the loop that our mind is in. And that's exactly the loop that's going to keep you stuck. And you will never get where you want to be. You will never be happy because you'll forever be in this loop. But in order to be happy and become happier, you just have to do the things that make you happy. I mean, it's so simple. Like, if you feel like doing this thing that makes you happy, just go and do it. And then you're gonna get more of it. And that's also going to clear your mind. That's gonna clear your head. And then you'll be like, oh, that actually gives you more clarity about, okay, this is who I am as a person. This is what I enjoy doing. This is who I am. I can love myself in that way. Embrace the things that you love doing. Embrace your difference. Embrace your uniqueness. And what is true for you might not at all be true for me. If you enjoy building trains, I'd be like, fuck that shit, I hate that. Like, I don't want to do that whatsoever. But you want to do that, go and do that. This is why it's so important to own who we are, and also to just stop thinking about how others might perceive the things that we love doing. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Just do what you love doing. Embrace your preferences. Embrace what you enjoy, and then everything else will fall into place. And stop trying to fix yourself. There's nothing wrong with you. Nothing has ever been wrong with you. That's a complete, utter bullshit lie. Because who you truly are at the core is unconditional love. Who you truly are at the core is abundance and freedom and beauty. Because your existence itself is beauty. You being alive is the beauty of life. You already are infinitely beautiful simply by the fact that you exist. You are inherently and infinitely worthy simply by the fact that you exist. And that's just the truth. So There really is nothing you need to change. You are a unique spark of the divine. And again, because you are so different to everyone else, that's exactly the reason why you exist. Like, who you are, there's a reason for that, because you couldn't be anyone else. So your unique existence is what will bring you the most happiness. And trying to be like someone else, or trying to accomplish things that other people have accomplished that you haven't accomplished yet, yeah, maybe you haven't accomplished these things because you're not supposed to accomplish these things. Because it's not your highest path. It's not what will make you most happy. And if you're in this room of 20 people and 19 of them have achieved this thing, but you in your heart feel that this is not for you, then it's not for you. Then you're still not meant to do this thing just because the other 19 people have done it. No, it means that it's not for you. You will know what's for you. You know. And no one else outside of yourself can tell you what's best for you. You know that inside your heart. And that's what you have to follow. And stop looking around and comparing yourself to other people. Oh, this and that, they have achieved this and this and this, and this is how you're supposed to do it in this society. No, fuck that. Our society is fucked. Fuck what anyone else thinks. Fuck what other people have accomplished. Do your thing. Embrace your difference. That's how you're going to find happiness. Okay, I'm hanging up. I'm sending you so much love, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.